Bandeham Shri Gurun Shiyata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitam Sya Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyanachana Shalakya Chakshununmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gorva Bhistam Supurakam Guraganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Padanugam Govindabhidam Ujvalam Bharatanum Bhaktyam Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavad Prem Noe Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandabananam Balarka Chilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Sridharam Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Goriya Gauravanvai Vatobano Riva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Mayavara Timingilo Deragatha Nudritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tambaje Bansha Kopatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure of the sweet absolute, with translation and commentary by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. This is chapter 5, Karma-sannyasa-yoga, the path of renunciation of action. Path of renunciation of action. So we'll begin today with text number 23. Shaknoti haiva yashodum praksharyara vimokshanat kama krodhod bhavam vegam sayukta sasuki nara shaknoti haiva yashodum Saknoti haiva yasodum praksharyara vimokshanat kama krodhod bhavam vegam sayukta sasuki nara. Know that one who before leaving the body utilizes the opportunity of this life to check the impulses of desire and anger, he is a yogi who knows true happiness. So as we've often mentioned, the word yoga means to make a connection, and make a connection ultimately with the Supreme, and that is through the highest form of yoga. The highest form of yoga will be through devotional service. So we are to be able to attain the goal of engagement in devotional service. We have to check the impulses of the senses, because normally, as we've heard, when the senses meet up with the objects of the senses, that is enough to carry away the intelligence of a normal person. But that will not be the case of one who's actually advanced in Bhakti yoga or devotional service. His senses will all be engaged in the service of the Lord. The Lord's called Rishikesha. He's the proprietor of the senses. So in that way, one uses one's instruments, one's senses as instruments in the service of the Lord, and that will also include the mind. So know that one who before leaving the body utilizes the opportunity of this life to check the impulses of desire and anger is a yogi who knows true happiness. Yonta sukontar aramas tatantar jyotirevacha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto digachati yonta sukom tar aramas tatantar jyotirevaya sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto digachati. Such a yogi sees the self within and delights in the bliss of the self within. Attaining the transcendental state, he attains liberation from matter and entry into the abode of Brahman. Such a yogi sees the self within and delights in the bliss of the self within. Attaining the transcendental state, he attains liberation from matter and entry into the abode of Brahman. So, within the heart, there is Atma and Paramatma. So ultimately, the Paramatma is watching the wanderings of the living entity. And it is said that the living entity, it is like the example given of two birds in a tree. So one bird is sitting on the branch of the tree, not involved in any activity there, but just witnessing. And the other bird is going from branch to branch, tasting the different fruits of the tree. And some are bitter, and some are sweet. But the witnessing bird is just waiting for the other bird to stop with his engagement in tasting all these different tastes of the fruits, tasting the fruits, and then they will fly off together. So that example is given of Atma, meaning the tasting bird, and Paramatma, the witnessing bird. So we are like that. Such a yogi sees the self within and delights in the bliss of the self within. Attaining the transcendental state, he attains liberation from matter and entry into the abode of Brahman. So that will happen when one understands that the enjoyment of the senses is just temporary, and that one's real position, which a yogi will understand, one's real position is eternal, that one is an eternal jivatma, and by the nature of the jiva, an eternal servant of the Lord. So that will be the highest development of yoga. The highest yogi is actually one who comes to see everyone engaged in the service of the Lord. So that realization, that is a supreme vision. And Labante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Shinakomasha China Dvaidha Yatatmana Sarvabhuta Hiterata. Sinless, free from doubt, self-controlled, and dedicated to the welfare of all living beings, the seers of truth attain such liberation. Sinless, free from doubt, self-controlled, and dedicated to the welfare of all living beings, the seers of truth attain such liberation. So this becoming free from the impulses of desire and anger, this desire is from wanting to enjoy one's senses, and anger arises when one is unsuccessful or restrained in that enjoyment. So this is the natural sequence. First there is desire, and then when that desire is not fulfilled, it's anger. But one who can become free from from desire and anger, then they can become situated in the Supreme Brahman. It's mentioned later in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma, Na Shochati Na Kankshati, Samasarveshu Bhuteshu, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. One who attains the Brahma Bhuta stage of becoming free from all the Shochati Na Kankshati, free from desire and free from lamentation. Then, Samasarveshu Bhuteshu. In that position, one can see everyone with eyes of equanimity. One can see that everyone is a spirit soul. And at that stage of realization, Mad Bhakti, Mad, Brahmabhuta Prashanatman, Ashochati, Nakangshati, Samasarveshu Bhuteshu, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. That's when devotional service begins. So devotional service is actually on that spiritual platform of Brahman realization. When one attains to Brahman realization, then one can engage in devotional service. And there are examples given, like the example of Sukadeva Goswami, and the example of Sukadeva Goswami and the 4 Kumaras. They were already situated on the Brahman platform, but they from that platform they came to the level of devotional service. And we also hear about Bilva Mangal, he remarks that he was situated on the Brahman platform, but due to coming in contact with the Lord and his devotees, then he became engaged like as a maidservant with Krishna, as a maidservant with some cunning boy who's searching for the gopis in the bushes of Vrindavan. Bilva Mangal states like that. He says, I was seated on the asan, on an asana and worshipped by others. But he left that position of engagement in that. And from there, he came to realize himself as a maidservant of Krishna. So, from the Brahman platform, from the situation of being worshipped even on the Brahman platform, Bilva Mangal came to that realization. So, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. And here also mentions like that. Sinless, free from doubt, self-controlled, and dedicated to the welfare of all living beings. Samasarveshu Bhuteshu. Able to see all living entities with that spiritual vision. So dedicated to the welfare of all living beings. The seers of truth attain such liberation. Yatendriya mano bhuder munir moksha parayana vigateja maya krodo yasada mukta eva saha. Persons of the renounced order who have controlled their thoughts, who are free from desire and anger, and who have achieved knowledge of the nature of the soul are liberated whether they live or die. Persons of the renounced order who have controlled their thoughts, who are free from desire and anger, and who have achieved knowledge of the nature of the soul are liberated whether they live or die. And as we previously discussed, that one cannot engage in renunciation until there is the level of realization of yukta vairagya, of being able to engage everything in the service of the Lord, as Srila Rupa Goswami remarks. Because I talked about how when Ramananda Roy is discussing with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he says, Sarvadharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja ham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Mahaprabhu says that by itself, without the association of devotees, that renunciation, and without engagement, without hearing from realized devotees, then that will be external. So it's not just a question of renouncing the activities of this world or controlling one's senses. That may be a beginning position, but as Mahaprabhu indicates in his discussion with Ramananda Roy, that will not be possible unless one is being engaged by higher Vaishnavas and hearing from Vaishnavas. Otherwise, that form of just vairagya, it's not useful. Srila Sridhar Maharaj remarks that exploitation and renunciation, they're both negative forces. Exploitation is associated with karma, and renunciation is associated with gyan, with knowledge. But they're both negative, just like if somebody is trying to exploit this world, that is incorrect. We talked about how then one has to accept the karma for that exploitation. But renunciation by itself is also a negative impulse. And Guru Maharaj describes it as a stop or a blockage, a strike in the organic system. You cannot even just turn off all your activities in your mind, because it is the nature of the soul to be active. So that will be incomplete in itself, of just the point of engagement and renunciation. So always that renunciation has to be of the nature of yukta vairagya, the renunciation of one's own desire to enjoy this material world through one's senses. And one has to come to the level of understanding that everything that one experiences, everything is meant for the service of Krishna. And then that will be proper renunciation. And then one can sustain that in the form of devotional service. Because the devotees are not trying to neither exploit this world or renounce this world. We don't, just like we see that some confusion existed with Sanatana Goswami. And when he came to see Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, he traveled through the jungle of Jharikanda. And when he got to Puri, he had contacted through some contaminated water. He contacted some disease, whereby he had sores on his body, and they were oozing some kind of liquid. And every time Mahaprabhu would embrace Sanatana Goswami, that liquid from Sanatana's sores would touch the body of Sanatana, and the body of Mahaprabhu, and Sanatana was very disturbed by that. And he considered that he should give up his body by throwing himself under the wheels of the Ratha Yatra cart. So when he was thinking like that, Mahaprabhu, understanding everything, Mahaprabhu, without him saying anything, Mahaprabhu chastised him. And he spoke to Haridas Thakur, and he said, in front of Sanatana Goswami, he says, "Oh Haridas, you see how wrong this is. This person wishes to destroy the property of another. It doesn't belong to him, but he wants to destroy that property. He wants to destroy his body, but he has already given that body for my service. and I have much to do through him, through his body and his intelligence, his senses, everything. I have much to do through him. Mahaprabhu said, I promised to my mother that I will remain in Puri, but I have much things that I wish to accomplish in Vrindavan. And Sanatana Goswami will accomplish those things for me. And he said, but he is thinking that he will destroy this body, but he cannot destroy this body because it doesn't belong to him. He has already promised it for my service. So if we try to exploit this body and enjoy our senses in so many ways, then that form of exploitation will lead to reactions, and we will have to suffer those reactions of trying to exploit this world and exploit the resources of this world. But also the idea is, how can we renounce what doesn't belong to us? The living entity is the eternal servant of the Lord. Jiva Swarupoi Krishna Nityadas. Then we should be engaging everything in the service of the Lord, not trying to renounce this world. That is a false understanding. That is not a proper realization to renounce this world. And that Guru Maharaj said that will be like a strike in the organic system. It's something that's wrong. It's something unnatural. So both attraction and repulsion are felt by when the senses meet up with their sense objects. So, and we can say attraction that is there in the form of exploitation, and repulsion is the form of renunciation. So both of those are negative waves. Rather, we want to come to the proper understanding, which is that of dedication. We want to be able to dedicate ourselves to the service of the Lord. So then here. Sparshan kritva bahir bhayams chakshus chaivantare bruvo pranapano samokritva nashabhyantaracharino yatendriya manobudir munir moksha parayana vigatecha mayakrodo yasada mukta evasa sparshan kritva bahir bhayams chakshus chaivantare bruvo pranapano samokritva nasabhyantaracharino yatendriya manobudir munir moksha parayana vigatecha mayakrodo yasada mukta evasa. Expelling from the mind all the external sense objects of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, centering the concentration and stabilizing the incoming and outgoing breath, subjugating the senses, mind, and intelligence, dedicating himself to liberation, his desire, fear, and anger gone, such a sage is ever liberated. Expelling from the mind all the external sense objects of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, centering the concentration and stabilizing the incoming and outgoing breath, subjugating the senses, mind, and intelligence, dedicating oneself to liberation. His desire, fear, and anger gone, such a sage is ever liberated. So as we've mentioned, there are different paths which are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, there certainly is a description of levels of realization which one can attain also mechanically, an ascending process. So in that ascending process, one is to be able to control the senses, and then ultimately, when one is under practice for so long, then one can leave this material body and pass through the Brahma Randra and attain higher planets. Ultimately, one planet of liberation, of entering into Brahman, is called Siddhaloka. So there are those persons, sannyasis, renunciants, who attain this level of realization. They can attain that platform. But that is not the actual goal, especially for one can see things with correct vision, just as it's mentioned. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yadzgyanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabhyate. There are different realizations of the Absolute. The impersonal path leads to Brahman realization and attaining that level of Siddhaloka. And then there is the yogis who are engaged in meditation on the Paramatma, on the presence of the Lord as a localized expansion in one's heart. But higher than that is Bhagavaniti Shabhyate, the realization of Bhagavan, Vishnu, and who is coming from Krishna, Vishnu, to be able to attain that level of actual understanding, Bhagavaniti Shabhyate. So we'll see in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a progressive development of realization that's going on in each chapter. This chapter, as we've heard, is called Karma-sannyasa-yoga. And there are karma-sannyasis, obviously. There are those sannyasis who engage in completely stopping all movements of the body. But that form of sannyas is not recommended for Kali Yuga. As it's mentioned, there's different considerations. One, in Kali Yuga, one of them is that one is not supposed to take sannyas, but that will refer to the acceptance of karma-sannyas, of just sitting and stopping all the activities. And then there are other things that are forbidden in Kali Yuga, that, for instance, begetting children in one's brother's wife and things like this. They're just different sacrifices, like the Ashram Meda and things like that, are not to be done in Kali Yuga. So one can hear that this kind of karma sannyasa is not recommended, especially for this Kali Yuga. But if one just hears that in Kali Yuga one should not take sannyas, then one will not understand what is actually the meaning that's being expressed in the Bhagavad Gita. Because we can see that Mahaprabhu showed the example of accepting sannyas, but his sannyas was not karma sannyas. His sannyas was taken to be able to bring benefit to all the conditioned souls, because in the time when Mahaprabhu lived, although he showed himself to be a very renowned sannyasi, and at first glance it was accepted by different persons that he was a Mayavad sannyasi, for instance, that's what Prakashananda Saraswati thought when they saw Mahaprabhu in Benares or in Varanasi. That why you are acting like this, why you're engaged in chanting, why you're engaged in dancing like a fanatic or like a sentimentalist. This is not correct. But then Mahaprabhu, when he gave his mercy to them and explained to those Mayavadis the beauty of chanting the holy name and how one can engage oneself in devotional service, and that Shankaracharya was actually wrong but deliberately wrong. He was serving a purpose, we could say, by the divine will that Lord Shiva in this age will come and present the philosophy of Mayavad, the Mayavad philosophy, which is very akin to Buddhism, to bring people gradually back to the correct path. But Mahaprabhu explained where there were some fundamental flaws, where Shankaracharya was wrong in what he gave, what he explained. But that will take the vision of a devotee and the vision which the Lord, showing himself as a devotee, could point out those errors and ultimately bring all those Mayavadis to the path of devotion. So, as I'm saying, within each chapter, there is always an evolution going on. So up till now, we've been hearing about how one is to control one's senses, one who is to renounce all the objects of the engagement of the senses with their objects, renouncing desire, renouncing anger, controlling, like this. It appears to be it appears to be, rather we can say, a ascending level of engagement. But here, in this last verse, we'll hear something more. This is verse number 29. Bhaktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam mam shanti richati. Bhaktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam mam shanti richati. Now Krishna is giving an understanding in this verse. And this was a verse that Srila Prabhupada quoted. He published one booklet, an article called The Peace Formula, and it was based on this verse. Bhaktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam mam shantim richati. So, I am the enjoyer and objective of the sacrifices performed by persons of action, and of the austerities performed by persons of knowledge. I am Narayan, the indwelling monitor of all planes of life, the worshipable Supreme Personality who awards liberation. I am Krishna, the well-wisher of all and the dear friend of the devotees. One who knows me thus attains the bliss of knowing his own original divine identity. So we've heard so much, and it's developing. And here we find a verse which unifies all the conceptions presented in this chapter about renunciation of action. I am the enjoyer. So I am the enjoyer and objective of the sacrifices performed by persons of action. So everything that one does is meant as being sacrificed for the satisfaction of the Lord. They're all meant as engagements in the Lord's service, all the actions. And of the austerities performed by persons of knowledge. So, Bhaktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. So, Yagya by Vishnu, all activities are meant as a sacrifice to the Lord, and also tapasam, all the renunciation here as it's mentioned, and the austerities or renunciation performed by persons of knowledge. Then Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. And why is that? Because Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Krishna is saying, I'm the Lord of all worlds and of all persons. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I'm the Supreme Lord of everyone and everything. Sarva Loka. I am Narayan, the indwelling monitor of all planes of life, the worshipable Supreme Personality who awards liberation. Then Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. I am Krishna, the well-wisher of all and the dear friend of the devotees. So Suridam Sarva Bhutanam means I'm the friend of everyone, the friend of all Bhutanam, of all living entities. I'm their friend. So when they engage in sacrifice, Yajna Vishnu, when they engage in sacrifices for me, then they're doing so out of love and affection, because I am actually the friend of everyone. Who would not want a friend like Krishna? No? I am Krishna, the well-wisher of all and the dear friend of the devotees. Then he says, one who knows this, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati, one who knows me thus, attains the bliss of knowing his own original divine identity. So, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati, one who knows this also attains actually within this world peace from all dualities and all the pangs of material existence. One who knows me thus attains the bliss of knowing his own original divine identity. So, Iti Shri Mahabharate Shata Sahasriyam Samhitayam Vayasikyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahmavid Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma-sannyasa-yoga Nama Panchamodhyaya. End of chapter 5, the path of renunciation of action. From the conversation of Sri Krishna and Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad. End of chapter 5, the path of renunciation of action, from the conversation of Sri Krishna and Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, the yoga scripture of transcendental knowledge in Bhishma Parva of Sri Mahabharata, the holy scripture revealed by Srila Vyasadeva in 100,000 verses. So, yeah. So, on Thursday we'll start with chapter 6, which is Jnana Yoga, the path of meditation. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanata Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Ete Vignana Shabishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Tasabar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Kader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame More Abhilash H.I. Gosai Jave Braje Koilavas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayi Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Korea Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamadas Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo Today is also the divine appearance day of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and he is spoken of by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He describes Vrindavan Das Thakur as the Veda Vyas of Mahaprabhu's divine Leela, and he has described so nicely especially the events when Mahaprabhu was in Navadip before he took sannyas. And he also equally presented the activities and person of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, because Vrindavan Das Thakur is a disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj have said that the Chaitanya Bhagavad could just as well have also been called the Nityananda Bhagavad, because there's so much beautiful description of the divine personality of Nityananda Prabhu. And also Chaitanya Charitamrita has come about through the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, because Nityananda ordered or told Krishnadas Kaviraj to go to Vrindavan. So, and we especially Srila Govinda Maharaj has described it, both of them, Vrindavan Das Thakur and Krishna Das Kaviraj, they are both the Veda Vyas. They are both Vyas writing about the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj, he remarks that he is describing those things that weren't described in detail by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And because the book was becoming voluminous, and Vrindavan Das didn't present so much Mahaprabhu's Leela after he took sannyas, but Krishna Das Kaviraj has completed the description in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And on our parikramas, when we go on Srinavadip Dham parikrama, the last day of the parikrama always ends at Mamgachi, the appearance place of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who appeared as the son of Narayani. Narayani was very favored by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who used to give her his prasadam when she was a small girl. And these Vrindavan Das Thakurs, we were so fortunate to be able to have the Chaitanya Bhagavat and this very beautiful description. And from the viewpoint, as I said, of a devotee of Nityananda Prabhu, because he says, if after hearing the glories of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, you cannot accept these lords in your life, then I kick you in the head. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, this seems very unusual because Mahaprabhu emphasized Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Mahaprabhu talks about humility, offering respect to others, and tolerance. And someone will say, well, where is the humility? Where is the offering respect to others? Where is the tolerance when he's threatening to kick someone in the head? But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, this is a special mercy of Vrindavan Das Thakur to catch the attention, so that people who would normally not be interested in Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, that their attentions will be caught by the words of Vrindavan Das Thakur. And then they may come to complain about his expression, but otherwise they would not have taken notice. But he is taking some special actions to draw their attention, and that is his mercy. So it is as if he has opened up a new canal of flowing mercy that people can take advantage of. And certainly to hear from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, one is very fortunate to be able to hear, and there's a special flavor, a special way of presentation through the eyes of a devotee of Nityananda Prabhu. So we also, as well as hearing about Mahaprabhu, we hear so much about Nityananda Prabhu. So today is this divine day of the appearance of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we will remember and worship him on this divine day. Jayom Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Garanga Gandharvika Giridhari Jo Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Ashta Tara Sadashi Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai, jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sananta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Sad Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Premzigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Vishvavarinya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Ram Mayapur ki jai, Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Saparshada Shri Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Koladvip ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai, Ganga Devi ki jai, Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Vrindavandam ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan, Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Amunda Jo ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Avirbhav Mahotsav ki jai, the divine appearance day of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.